Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the show. I'm Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network, and tonight is the night. It is championship night for season number 5 of the 802 Riptide Radio Next Gen Series. Coming into tonight, a lot of storylines and a lot of big action coming into tonight. Jeff Pogo comes in with the points lead and looking like as long as he takes this green flag here in that 97 machine, he will walk away as the champion. Past season's champion, season number 1, was Keith Fall, and season number 2 was a 62 car of Frank Zingen, who is actually quick time here in practice. Season number 3 going to the 6 car of Johnny Barker. Season number 4 last season, I got to cover the end of that. That going to John Ross. And tonight, Jeff Pogo might be able to add to the illustrious list of season champions. The other big story that we got to talk about here tonight, it is Jeff Barefoot's final ride. He has been here since the start of this league, has been a big supporter both on and off the track with the Riptide Radio partnership and everything that's Jeff's done, from all the laughs and all the great friendships he has done. And I tell you what, it has been awesome to get to know the guy. And I say, you can see the nice logo on the top right of the screen. We'll have that all race long. But I say, while we got a minute here left, or I should say a few minutes left in practice, let's go talk to one of the many men I want to chat with. And before he goes, I'm sure he'll be back at one point, but we got to chat with this guy right here. It's going to be Jeff Barefoot. We're going to chat with just for a few moments here. So we'll get him queued on up, and I believe we have him here. So going to get a word from the driver of the 9 machine of Jeff Barefoot. Jeff, do you got a copy?
Hey, hello, Brett. How we doing?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself? How you feeling here for Phoenix and all the other kind of bells and whistles coming with tonight?
Well, I tell you, it's got twofold to it. I'm not really good at Phoenix, but very challenging track for sure. And kind of sad it's gonna be my last race for a while, but had great teammates and a bunch of good guys in this league, and it's just been an awesome ride. And
Yeah,
Rob's done an awesome job with this paint job and poster for the race, and I'm just looking forward to it.
Yeah, we are as well, Jeff. And you mentioned a key thing there with teammates and friendships. I mean, there's a lot to be said here on iRacing, and most things online with the connections that people, we may never meet in real life or may have never got a chance to meet. And here on iRacing, we can all come together. How was that experience like for you? And I'm sure you made some friendships that, will last a lifetime.
Oh yeah, it's been absolutely awesome, and I'm right near a great vacation spot in South Carolina, there at North Myrtle Beach, and a lot of the guys vacate down this way. So if Rod will let me stay in the Discord, and maybe they can hook me up and say, hey, let's meet for a cold beverage somewhere. So.
Yeah, I tell you what, if I'm ever in your beautiful neck of the woods down there, Jeff, I would love to grab a cold beverage with you because I bet you have some great stories. I got to learn a little bit more about you, and yeah, I mean, any stories come to the height of your mind here?
Uh, Actually, I was telling my teammates today that I attended the very first NASCAR race in Phoenix. Um,
Wow, that is
and it was
definitely cool.
it was I didn't do a lot of traveling to NASCAR races. I stayed around Charlotte and of course went to Daytona 500 a couple times, and Rockingham and North Wilkesboro, those tracks, and then that trip to Phoenix just kind of made my day that for that time period.
Oh, I bet, Jeff. And you've been a race fan longer than I've been alive here, and that's speaking a lot. A dedication. And how has that been a race fan to see the progression of racing in general, especially in your area, to now being able to jump out on track and try and feel what these guys are feeling?
Yeah, I've been around for a long time, and I've kind of slowly lost some interest in NASCAR. Back in the day with Awesome Bill and Earnhardt and Petty and them guys, and just seemed like it changed so much over the years. And I don't know, I just lost when Bill kind of gave it up and just kind of started losing interest in it. And I don't even watch it no more, really.
Yeah, and that's the case of many of fans here, kind of, going that direction. Hopefully, you can find some joy, maybe some of the, the smaller series that get broadcast now or something like that. I'm sure you got to stick to some sort of racing because I know it's in your blood, Jeff.
I don't know. It's been here forever, and like there's just so much stuff to do around here at Ocean Drive and North Myrtle Beach, and it just seems like there's something going on every day and every night. So I'm gonna kind of go in another direction for a little while.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That was a lot of years with the NASCAR stuff. But yeah, Jeff, real quick here, of course, got to give a big shout out to you and Riptide Radio coming on board and the support for all the seasons. Really do appreciate that big time and always love to see the name and the brand out there. Hopefully, we've helped you and a little bit with that. Of course, that's continuing. But what else is maybe Jeff up to if he's not here on Sunday nights? What do you got planned for the next year? Anything big and exciting, I'm sure.
Well, I need to qualify first, then come back to you. The qualifying time's up right now, so I got to go.
All right. Well, we'll get a word with you here after
All right.
qualifying. We'll let you do your 2 laps, and then we'll chat back with you, my man Jeff. So good luck here in qualifying.
All right, sir. Thank you.
All righty. That was a quick word with Jeff Barefoot. As we know, Jeff's gonna be hanging up the virtual steering wheel here at the end of the season. So of course, had to give a big shout out to him and a chat with him because one of the big storylines at the 9 car is going to be retired after the season. Of course, Jeff Barefoot picking the 9 with Awesome Bill from Dawsonville, probably as a big inspiration here. So here we go. Jeff Barefoot on the clock as he passes the stripe, heads through the new reconfigured 1 and 2 here. So off turn number 2 here. We'll see where he can go. Some cool stuff with Jeff Barefoot through the seasons. He's actually finished in the top 5 twice in 2 different seasons. His best ever finish was a 4th place in points. That came in season number 3. Season number 1, he actually finished 4th in points. And then some of his best runs coming way back in a little bit ago now, September 11th in 2022, picking up a 3rd place at Las Vegas. Then he picked up another podium spot at Daytona as well as Kansas. He also has a top 5 at Homestead and 2 times finishing in the top 5 at Richmond. And then his final top 5 coming at the Dover Motor Speedway. So Jeff Barefoot, even though we didn't get to see him full time this season, definitely had made some splashes here in the points and all that, as it looks like Barefoot comes across the stripe. Looks like going to take 1 lap here and going to be good enough for a top 10 starting spot, currently in 10th position. So big time storylines, of course, like I mentioned here, folks, coming into tonight. Right now, Frank Zingen with the quick time in the 62 machine. Looks like we only have a few more cars out on track, one of them being the 1 car of Brandon Guerin. Guerin coming to the stripe here. We'll see what he can do as he will cut the dog leg big time, and that's what you got to do here in qualifying. Make that track as short as possible, but whoa, big time moment for Guerin. He gets loose, taps the wall, and that will probably end that lap there. So Brandon Guerin gonna have to reset and try it again if he does have another lap in the books. Right now it's Zingen, Barker, Holmes, Pogo, and Delgado, the top 5 here in qualifying. Looks like the only car yet to go out is the number 1 car of Brandon Guerin. So I should say that's the car that has yet to put up a lap. Of the cars that have not put up a lap so far, 15 cars here on the property, 12 have taken a lap here. So here we go, Brandon Guerin, one shot at it. What can he do? He will once again cross that dog leg, shorten up that racetrack. Of course, all that track, fair game here tonight, can race anywhere on the speedway. So we'll see cars especially cutting down there on restarts, but as the race goes on, we'll see people stay more towards the racetrack, because even down there you can start abusing those tires a little bit here. So Brandon Guerin's one shot at a lap, he crosses the stripe, just spins out after, but that is good enough for P number 3. So that'll put him in the top 3 here starting. But the man of here in qualifying, Frank Zingen, walking away with the Leaf Guard Pole Award here. So congrats to Frank here, picking up another pole. I believe that's the second one of the season, walking away with some bragging rights to start the race here tonight. So once again, big congrats to Frank. He will lead the field to the green flag here tonight. And it sounds like we already got cars lining on up for this 160 lap championship night race. So here we go. Let's start tonight's starting order here at Phoenix. Leading the field to green, like I said, with the pole award here, walking away with some quick cash in qualifying. That is the 62 of Frank Zingen, leading the field to green. To his outside will be the number 6 here, Johnny Barker, rolling off P number 2, and it's a front row of past champions here, as Zingen and Barker both picking up championships in previous seasons. Then we head to row number 2, rolling off on the inside. He made a last minute lap, making it stick. Brandon Guerin in the 1 car will roll off 3rd, and to his outside, he got on the podium last week, hoping to keep that momentum. Stephen Holmes in the 90 machine will roll off 4th. Then our 5th place driver here just has to take the green flag. Jeff Pogo, our current points leader, has it in the books. If he takes the green flag, he rolls off 5th. 6th going to the 31 of Christian Delgado. Delgado pretty much has 3rd place in points all but wrapped up. Starting in P number 7 will be the 13. That is Jason Wiley. Starting in 8th is Dustin Coggins in the 42. 9th going to the 46 machine. That is Eli Raposa. And to round out the top 10, that is Emilio Romero in the 15. Ariba Caton in the 30 machine will start 11th. 12th going to Jeff Barefoot in the 9. 13th is the 8 car, that is Matthew Taylor. Rob Lowell in the 21 will start 14th. And then to round out the field here tonight will be the 81 machine of Dan Dill. So that will do it for the starting order. And we got something cool here, because we will have some extended pace laps, as this number 9 car will pace the field here. We'll do 3 laps for Jeff Barefoot. Of course, this is Barefoot's final ride of his at least career at the moment here in iRacing. The number 9 car with the 802 boys will get retired after tonight. So Jeff Barefoot will lead the field here, and we'll see if he's got a copy.
Fans, they run this league with the utmost respect, and they put the league first in every decision they make.
Alrighty, Jeff. Well, anything else you would have to add to there? You know, gotten a quick word with you before, but yeah, you're out here leading the field. How's it feeling? What are the emotions, and what do you have to say, my man?
Yeah, it's kind of a sad moment, because I do like racing, and Riptide Radio is that awesome radio station. They're free streaming. Download it. And, the DJ in the morning from 9 to 12 is one of my best friends in the world. He's a fellow retired firefighter, not from Charlotte, but we're both firefighter brothers. And give a big shout out to my teammates that have helped me so much this year, and the practice sessions, and Like I said, I didn't get to race that much this year, but in the past league or past years, they really helped me stay in the top 10. Even got in the top 5 a couple times.
Yeah, we highlighted that even in qualifying, Jeff. You know, 2 times he finished in the points in the top 5, best ever being in season number 3, coming home 4th in points. And yeah, it was great to see that and everything you've accomplished here, Jeff. And yeah, my man, you have yourself a great rest of the race, and good luck to you.
Thank you, Brett. And I want to say good luck to all the drivers today, and let's have a fun race. And I'll try to stay out of you fast guys' way.
Well, appreciate it, Jeff. Hopefully you'll be in the mix by the end of it. But yeah, you, my man, have yourself a great rest of the race here. Go enjoy it, most importantly.
Thank you, Brett.
Alrighty, that was another quick word from the driver of the number 9 Riptide Radio machine of Jeff Barefoot. And once again, while we got him out here pacing the field, thank you to Jeff and your support here, your partnership of the league, one of the founding members here to come on board when this league was created and to make it in is what it is here today, to allow all the opportunities for these drivers, these fans, as well as everything in the backstage here. So once again, thank you, Jeff Barefoot here. You have yourself a great time here tonight, as well as all your future endeavors. And yeah, like I said with chatting with you, if I'm ever in your area, man, I would love to grab a cold beverage with you. You seem like an awesome time, and I'd love to hear some of the stories. So here we go. Jeff Barefoot will slot back into place. The front row now set here. iRacing pace car down on pit road. And that means one thing, folks. For the final time this season, we get to turn them on loose. Season number 5 comes to a conclusion here tonight at Phoenix. It is Zingin, Barker on the front row. Into the restart zone we go, and we are green flag racing here from Phoenix. Frank Zingin away. He will get clear and lead the field down into turn number 1. Really, the only car to cut the dogleg there was the one car of Brandon Guerin. Was able to get just side by side with Johnny Barker, but man, gets a great drive off the corner there. Brandon Guerin might have the advantage going into 3 here. Zingin out in front, side by side battle for second here as we complete lap number 1. Still dead even for the second position. Both these guys fighting hard here, one in that position and one in that clean air if they can get it. That time it seems like Johnny Barker a better momentum run on the high side through 1 and 2. He will get clear of Brandon Guerin. So top 3 will stay the same. Here comes now Jeff Pogo. He's working on his teammate of Stephen Holmes to the outside. Pogo will get around Holmes here and now sets the sights on Brandon Guerin. So with the 97 of Jeff Pogo taking the green flag here, folks, he has locked up the season 5 points here and will be our champion. So no matter where Jeff Pogo finishes or anything that happens, we will be talking to him at the end of this race. We look through the field here. Looks like everyone's starting to single file out, start to figure out where they want to run, especially with the pace. So with that, Christian Delgado here trying to work over Dustin Coggin. This is now a battle for the 6th position here, as Coggin trying to be on the move here early, trying to work around the 31. Whoa, Delgado got loose there on entry, had to wash up the car. Almost gets in the side of the 42 machine, but Coggin going to be able to hang on to that spot. So that 42 trying to march his way quickly here into the top 5. We haven't seen this 15 car for a few weeks here. Glad to see him back here in the race. That's Emilio out here in the 15 machine, currently running inside the top 5 top 10 as here we go. Battle for the race lead. Frank Zing and Johnny Barker trade in the first spot there in one lap. Zingen gave it up, but got it right back here and will lead once again at lap number 7. Jeff Pogo lost the front end there just a little bit, having to get on the brakes a little bit for the 6 car of Barker. That may cost him 3rd position here as Stephen Holmes quickly trying to take advantage of that. And these cars look a little on edge, folks. You can see them kind of shaking, getting a little bit loose on corner exits. That means this track's pretty hot, and these drivers gonna have to really keep in mind both the tire wear as well as keeping those tires underneath them here, because it may be a tough race, especially as these tires start to go away here. We hinted at this 42 here, trying to quickly get into the top 10. That's what he's trying to do right now, as Coggin working the inside of Guerin here. The 42 machine of Coggin trying to tiptoe around the bottom. Brandon Guerin trying to keep that momentum. Interesting, we don't see Coggin there cut the dog leg at all. So very quickly, everyone racing up on the racetrack here. So looks like Brandon Guerin will keep the momentum rolling up on the top lane, and looks like we'll be able to hold off the 42 for at least the moment. As, oh man, one car way up the track, I believe that was Emilio there, just losing the front end, and we've seen that many a times. You get on the brakes a little bit too hard, if you lock up these tires whatsoever, this car just shoots just straight pretty much, and especially at a tough angle that we see turn number 3. That'll get you out of the groove here in a hurry, as once again, battle for the race lead. Johnny Barker once again working against the 62 machine of Frank Zingen. Zingen led every lap up until now, but that time by, Johnny Barker leads at the stripe. One car with a little bit of an issue, I believe Eli Raposa having an issue. We'll try and catch that here in a minute, but Zingen able to defend, but gets loose. Here comes Jeff Pogo. Here comes Johnny Barker. 3 wide for the lead. They'll both split the 62 machine. And now here comes Zingen again. Wow. What some great battles for the race lead here. And here comes Jeff Pogo on the high side. Johnny Barker will drive it in there deep. Has to chase the race car. He gets sideways. He makes contact with Pogo. And around goes the 6 of Johnny Barker. So Barker here goes around off turn number 2 with some contact with Jeff Pogo. But we saw there pretty early that Johnny Barker drove it in there deep, had to chase this race car. You can see the back end already stepping out of the 6 machine. So he has to turn the wheel a little bit to the right to save that race car. And with that, drifts up into Jeff Pogo. There's the big snap oversteer, and that was just a very slight contact that sent the 6 car around. It was pretty much hard racing there, you know. No driver at fault. Johnny Barker just trying to chase that race car, hang on to it, and Jeff Pogo tried to give him the room, but didn't quite expect probably the 6 car to cut up like he did. Also want to go back a little bit further, see what happened to the 46 of Eli Raposa. And oh man, you can see Rob Lowell in the 21 machine sideways. He would get a piece of the wall, and then Eli Raposa maybe looking at the 21. He gets loose and smacked the wall pretty decently. So Raposa kind of gets lucky with the timing of this yellow, because you can see the cars going around him there. So able to at least get a new race car, at least get some of that damage repaired. So Rob Lowell on pit road, we saw him hit the inside wall there, so probably going to have an extended stop here to make sure he gets his repairs done. And of course here tonight, a special paint scheme on the 21 machine that has of course a Riptide radio and Barefoot's final ride on the car here of the 21 machine. Same logo you can see in the top right here, and wants to give a great send-off to one of his good buddies, that being Jeff Barefoot. So Rob Lowell rocking a sweet specialties paint scheme here tonight at Phoenix. So with the timing of the yellow and where everyone was racing, Jeff Pogo will be our race leader. Will choose at the stripe. Looks like takes the inside. That puts his teammate Stephen Holmes up into second here. Holmes, of course, last week finished runner-up to Brandon Guerin at Las Vegas. And he's in another great spot. Of course, Holmes in an intense battle for fourth in points. Him and Rob Lowell come into tonight separated by 1 point. Then Dustin Coggin sits sixth in points, just 9 points back. And then Brandon Guerin sits seventh in points, just 10 points back. So Brandon Guerin's going to have to do a little bit of work to get into that top 5 in points like he chatted about with us before. But definitely is on the table. A lot to race for, like I said here tonight, folks. A lot of storylines, but here we go. Pogo, Holmes on the front row, and we go back to green flag racing here at Phoenix. Pogo and Holmes, pretty even start from the front. Here comes now Frank Zingen. He will cut the dog leg, show them, hey, there's some speed down low if you can cut the track and get it to stick, as that allows Stephen Holmes, new race leader, out in front. Jeff Pogo will have the run here in 3. Wow, what a send by Dustin Coggin. He will somehow make that car stick here, but Christian Delgado will split the middle here, 3 wide through the dogleg. Some intense battles to kick off the night here tonight here, folks, and I love to see it. These guys racing hard, but racing clean as well. As now Dustin Coggin, at least at the moment, up in a podium spot, but here comes Christian Delgado to try and take that away. Coggin up top, Delgado down low. Frank Zingen just sits behind him, maybe saying, hey guys, I know I have the speed, I'm just going to take my time here, seeing some wild moves. I'm just going to go take a step back here for the moment. So everyone's still in the race here tonight. 15 cars took the green flag. Only 1 car, 1 lap down. That is the 46 machine of Eli Raposa. You see a battle for a top 10 spot here as Rob Lowell makes it around the high side of Matthew Taylor. So that puts the 21 machine here up into P number 10 here at the moment. Lap 15, seeing our first yellow. So far, everyone's starting to spread on out just a little bit, but people still trying to feel out their race cars, see what kind of pace they want to run. As Jason Wiley looked to the inside of Brandon Guerin, now has a 6 car of Johnny Barker to his high side. 1 car big time sideways. I believe that was a 15 machine. Yes, it was. He got out of sorts there on turn number 3, and that seems like a very tricky spot. We've already seen 3 or 4 cars get loose off turn number 2, excuse me. It is turn number 2. And I think we'll see it again here, because this corner 1 and 2 is such a long sweeping corner that you can think you can get on the throttle, but you still need a good amount of wheel here. And as you're unwinding it, if you got too much wheel in it, those rear tires can break free, and once they do, you only get a split second to save these race cars, because then you're already picking up speed. You're already trying to accelerate out of the corners. So Zingen here trying to come back up through the field here. 62 machine, I think, started on an easier note, trying to save those tires a little bit. Now trying to work around the 42 of Coggin. He has to make a move quick, because he's got a lot of cars here in the rear view all working together and pretty much raring to go here It looks like Emilio gonna get the pass done. Yes, he does. So Emilio back into the top 5 here in the 15 machine. Out front, no changes there. Stephen Holmes leading the way over Jeff Pogo. Christian Delgado third, Dustin Coggins fourth, and like we just mentioned here, Emilio back into the top 5. Has a lot of great battles here going on behind Frank Zingen here. Let's ride on board with Zingen, looking back to the battles behind him. As we can see here, Frank getting himself a little bit of breathing room over the one car of Brandon Guerin right behind him here at the moment. So 62 machine last couple times by a little bit faster than the cars around him here. So like I said, I think he was saving his tires to start the race here. And we should see the 62 machine here starting to cut up through the field if that was the case. One car a little bit out of sorts there off turn number 2. That is Jason Wiley opening up the door to the 81 of Dan Dill. Dill rocking a new scheme here tonight, the all black 81 with the Michelob Ultra on the side. And right there as well, Jeff Barefoot in the mix. Barefoot trying to work around the high side of the 13 machine. Right there behind as well is the 30 machine of Caton. Caton rocking a nice bright red machine here. That thing looks sporty as well. A little bit of nose damage to the 30, so might be hurting the feel of that race car just a little bit. One of the biggest movers here of the race so far is this number 8 car of Matthew Taylor. He has been putting in some very good laps here. Taylor has looked quick the previous few weeks, let me tell you folks, but hasn't quite had the luck or the finishes that he's kind of deserved in the number 8 machine. Gonna see if he can string it together here in championship night here at Phoenix. Taylor already up 5 positions from where he started, inside the top 10 now, and putting some heavy pressure on the one car of Brandon Guerin. Taylor, a great run there through the dogleg, able to get to the inside of Guerin. This is now a battle for the 7th position as they'll drag race off turn number 2 there. And it's such a tough pass to make because that high side can get on that throttle just a split second before, and with that, since it's just pretty much a straightaway, a drag race, that top side usually will have the advantage. So an intense battle from 4th through 8th. All these cars right on top of each other here. As we'll go high above the stands here, look at the spotter stand and see what these spotters see here. As Coggin in 4th here leading this pack. Romero in 5th. Zingen 6th. Guerin 7th. And Matthew Taylor there on the right side of your screen in 8th. Out in front though, battle for the race lead here. Jeff Pogo sizing up his teammate, and they go side by side into turn number 1 here. These two probably going to take their time with this pass, make sure they give each other enough room. And the big thing they'll have to worry about is not slowing each other down too much, so this 31 machine of Christian Delgado can catch him, because Delgado with that moves within a second there. But if this 13 or the 31 machine didn't get a piece of the wall there off turn number 2, it was about as close as he could get without kissing it. So Jeff Pogo now takes over the point here. We go back to this great battle from 4th through now maybe 8th, as Johnny Barker now joins in the fun. Looks like Romero having some sort of issue. He fell back to 9th and maybe now 10th, as here comes Rob Lowell. One car sideways. That's a 62 machine of Frank Zingen. Not sure what happened to Zingen there. Whoa, Dan Dill had to get on the binders hard there. Luckily, no caution flag, but what happened to Frank Zingen there? We'll take a look here through turns 1 and 2, see if the 62 just got sideways or did he get some help. No, very similar to Johnny Barker, just carried too much speed in there, lost the back end, and then spent the whole corner trying to save it. So a tough break for our pole sitter here, as that 62 right rear's got to be hot here, and he's got to spend a lot of time cooling that tire off and getting that race car back under him. But Frank Zingen from the pole here, not the way he wanted to start the race here tonight. Jeff Barefoot in the number 9 will get around him, so that moves Barefoot almost into a top 10 spot here. What a night it would be if Jeff can walk away. Final race for him in a top 10. As we do come back here for maybe a moment, as it looks like things not running the best here on my end. Trying to take a look at all my stats. I don't know if you guys can still hear me. Hopefully you guys can, but yeah, definitely some goofy stuff going on here tonight, which you hate to see it. So we're gonna go actually throw it to commercial break now and try and figure out what's happening.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
All right, we come back here once again to Phoenix. So sorry about that little blip there in action, folks. I actually got disconnected from the server there. So we are back here catching the race in action. As you see, not too much have changed here since we last left off, I should say. About 5 laps of time lost. Jeff Pogo still out in front. Stephen Holmes still in the 2nd position. Christian Delgado in 3rd. Matthew Taylor has driven up into 4th here, so that's probably the biggest thing that we did miss. The 8 car now in the top 5. Dustin Coggin, of course, losing that 4th position to Matthew Taylor. Coggin, though, hangs on to 5th. 6th currently is the 1 car Brandon Guerin. Johnny Barker in 7th. Rob Lowell up into 8th and catching that bunched up pack of cars. They're still all within like a 1.5 seconds of each other, so still running in that pack. Dan Dill up into 9th here. Frank Zingen currently battling Emilio Romero for 10th here. So Zingen able to claw back to 10th here. Now Jason Wiley trying to take 11th. So a great 4-car battle here, as here comes Reba Caton and Eli Raposa. But don't forget that 46 Snickers machine of Raposa still 1 lap down here. So Raposa hoping for a caution before times change, as Coggin into the wall big time. Oh man, Coggin was running in the 5th position here, and he has some big time right front damage to the 42 machine. That thing is not driving well. Definitely damaged some suspension components of the 42. You can see that right front pushed in big time. Yeah, he must have lost the front end here. We'll try and see what happened to Coggin. Looks like got loose, went to save the race car, and had to chase it up into the hill, up into the marbles, and had it off the wall. And then one final big snap sent it pretty hard into the wall here, as Coggin gonna try and baby a wounded race car to hopefully another caution. But right now everyone pretty spread on out, so it's gonna be a tall order if we do get another caution. We see a battle for 5th here, heating on up. Brandon Guerin and Johnny Barker both duking it out here. Barker was right on the rear bumper cover of the 1. Guerin, though, hit a nice dog leg as well as 1 and 2, able to give him a little bit of breathing room here. But Johnny Barker drives it in very aggressively into turn number 3. And that's where it seems like Barker's picking up time compared to the 1 car. That time though, Guerin running the middle line here, starting to search around the racetrack, trying to find the speed here. Looks like a lot of these drivers are. Oh, Barker will kiss the wall there down the backstretch. We'll take a look at the right side of that race car. It looks like no damage to be seen there for the 6, so he is all right there. As, oh man, we see a stop from the 15 machine. Definitely not scheduled here. As you can kind of see it if you look underneath the nose of the 15. That right front is pointing to the right direction. And yeah, you can see the damage there for the 15 machine. That thing definitely not drivable, so having to bring it down pit road. For sure use a fast repair, but if he doesn't want to continue, I don't blame him. So we'll see if the 15 of Romero does get back out here tonight. It looks like he does get back out on track here. Does use that fast repair, so not calling it a night yet, but I believe he will be 2 laps down. Yes, he will when he gets back out on track. So Jeff Pogo, one of the fastest cars here out on track the last couple times by. But the others that are in the ballpark of him are Rob Lowell in this 21 machine. as well as the one of Brandon Guerin, all of them in the 29.7 still, whereas most people are in the 32s to 29.8s. Looks like another car down on pit road here. Jeff Barefoot on pit road. I think once you pit from here, folks, I think you can make it to the end. I think it's about 110 laps on fuel. So even if these guys, you know, struggling with some sort of damage or how their cars are feeling, I think they can make it to the end. So their races aren't quite over if they do end up pitting, like we saw the 15 and now the 9. They will just have to be very, very gentle in this tire set and both how they treat them and making them last the rest of the way to the end of the race. Looking at this battle for 6 here, two of the closest cars on track is the 6 and the 21 machine. Both Wolfpack teammates here. Both of them racing for some of those points, of course, coming into tonight. Rob Lowe trying to hang on to a top 5 in points. But right now, Stephen Holmes, 4th in points, currently running 2nd. He has having himself a great points night, and if he can hang on to this, Stephen Holmes, what a recovery it would be for him. Had some rocky races, especially start the season, but started piecing together races, getting that quiet consistency, and then here at the end has stepped it up a notch, been up in the top 5s, podiums now, and once again on a podium step here tonight. Dustin Coggin still trying to work this wounded 42 machine. Has allowed the 81 of Dan Dill to catch him here. So Dill just has to be careful of his pass, take his time with it. He knows the 42 doesn't have the pace with that damage, so doesn't have to do any sort of crazy move or crazy pass to get around him, and should be able to get up into 8th here. But Coggin doing a heck of a job to keep that car under him. I mean, his pace, you know, maybe a 10th or 2 off, but nothing too crazy compared to the damage that is on the 42. So Dustin's doing a heck of a job keeping pace in that race car here. Actually starting to drive away from Dan Dill a little bit now. So now with Jeff Bogo passing the stripe here, it will be under 100 laps to go here in championship night. 99 to go after the 97 cross the stripe here. Bogo has checked on out now to a 3-second advantage over his teammate of Stephen Holmes. If there is one guy that doesn't want to see yellow from here on out, it's definitely the driver of the number 97 machine. And you know, with cars kind of starting to get spread on out a little bit as we approach the halfway point, let's do a little turn 3, turn it up. Let the cars do the talking here tonight. So, yeah, I'll take a break from yapping. Here's a little turn 3, turn it up. Alrighty, folks, we come back here from a little turn 3, turning up. Always one of my favorite segments to hear the cars ripping around any sort of racetrack here. As, oh man, pit stops are upon us here. Some drivers taking the short stop here and trying to gain an advantage here. Quite a bit of cars actually down on pit road during that turn 3, turning up. One currently down, the one car of Brandon Guerin, Johnny Barker here, making his way to his pit stall. So it looks like the cars that have yet to pit are still quite a bit of them. I should go, the cars that have pitted: Brandon Guerin, Rob Lowell, and now Johnny Barker. Those three have started their early stops here tonight, as Barker will make it safely down into the pit box here. The question is, when do the rest of the drivers start coming down to pit road? How long do they run it? Do they split it perfectly even at 80? Or with some of these guys coming down here early, do we see others? As last time by, Rob Lowell, fastest lap so far during the race. He just put down a 28.51, whereas the leaders last time by 30.0s, 30.2s, 30.3s. So Rob Lowell, you know, knocking off a 1.5 seconds each lap with these fresh tires. So it's gonna be a little bit of strategy here, folks. As now we see the 42 of Dustin Coggin. I like that call to bring that wounded race car down to pit road earlier than later. Our leader, Jeff Pogo, still stays out for another lap. So I'm Pogo, you know, kind of already set my ways here, let those cars come on in. Still had quite a bit of advantage over everyone else, and you're sitting in a great spot if you're one of the guys that stayed on out. And we do get one of those cautions that we have seen before in this league, cautions during the middle of pit stops, and that just flips a race on its head. So if I'm Jeff Pogo, I'm probably splitting this race in half. You know, had good pace for the first run. It's a great data point for the second run if you split it right in half. Stephen Holmes, of course, staying out there as well. Same with the 31 of Delgado. Dan Dill, another one of those drivers yet to come down. Frank Zingen as well. Ariba Caton, Jason Wiley are the last cars yet to make it down pit road. As you see with the cars that are a lap down and how it's shaking on out, a lot of cars one lap down here. So that's why I said, folks, if we do get a caution, that's going to help those guys that stayed on out big time. But here's the battle for position here with the pit stops when they cycle on out. Johnny Barker and Brandon Guerin both pitting on the same lap, and Matthew Taylor right behind them with the freshest of the tires. It looks like Taylor gonna take his time to get around these cars. Knows he has the tire advantage, but at least at the moment, when Rob Lowell pitted, he pitted about just under 5 laps than these cars behind him, and he has about a 2.5 second advantage over those guys. So that just goes to show you how much tires matter here. Where these guys might get into trouble is towards the end of the race when they're struggling for some grip in their tires. Battle for 4th on the speedway here. Dan Dill under some pressure from the 62 machine. Dill having some damage to that left front fender. Don't know when he picked that up, but definitely a little bit of crinkle to that left headlight on that Mustang. So Frank Zingen able to drive back up into 4th there, a little bit loose off to the start finish line for the 63 machine. Of the 7 cars yet to pit, who's the first to come on in, and when is that time? because all the cars that are out here are at least losing a second a lap to the guys that have pitted, the likes of Lowell, Barker, Guerin, Taylor, Coggin, all have pitted and all are absolutely flying on those fresher tires. But man, oh man, Jeff Pogo said he wasn't too big of a fan here at Phoenix, but he has been on cruise control and ripping off some laps out here in the lead. I mean, he has checked on out almost an 8-second advantage at the halfway point. As, oh man, we get a caution flag here right before halfway. As it looks like the 15 machine of Emilio slow here on the backstretch. So we're going to try and figure out what happened to the 15 here. As battling with Jason Wiley and Rob Lowell. Oh, and it looks like Emilio just gets loose, loses the back end of the car, tries to save it. Does a heck of a job of keeping it out of the wall. But yeah, with that big slide, definitely going to throw the yellow here. And that kind of flips this race on its head a little bit as Jeff Pogo able to pit. Interesting call here. Stephen Holmes staying out on the racetrack. Did not pit. Frank Zingen down on pit road as well. Maybe the 91 and make sure he got caught up to the field. As yeah, now Rob Lowe, Jason Wiley, Johnny Barker, Brandon Guerin, Matthew Taylor all going to have to use the wave around here once they get the 1-to-go signal. Unless something crazy happens and we see Holmes or Delgado staying out. But I think with the caution here, they can definitely use it to their advantage, get to the end of the race. As yeah, we'll see Bolton peel down pit road. As with this, actually, Dan Dill does not pit there in the 81 machine, so interesting from here. We'll see if Dill ends up coming down pit road next time by. As it looks like no, Dan Dill does not pit there. He did pit on lap 13, so maybe a bit of fuel for the 81. But that now leaves Rob Lowell, Johnny Barker, Matthew Taylor, Brandon Guerin, Dustin Coggin, all of them trapped one lap down here. As everyone tries to figure out where we gotta go. I think it's gonna be Dan Dill, Jeff Pogo on the front row. Frank Zingen should be slotting into, I believe, third here. Yeah, I believe that's all good. Christian Delgado, though, may have to get up through the field. Maybe not. I think him and Stephen Holmes pitted on the wrong lap. So here we go. Dan Dill leads the field to green. Dan Dill will pick up a point for a lap lead here tonight. They will race down through the tri-oval here. And with that, we still have a lot of cars one lap down. So now it's going to be a battle for a transfer position, or I should say a lucky dog spot right now. That battle being between Rob Lowell and Johnny Barker, but contact here. Dan Dill goes around Rob Lowell hard into the wall. Oh, man. Big time incident here going into turn number 3. And I believe we'll take a look here at the replay, see what happened, but it looks like Dan Dill just slow against the wall here, trying to stay up out of the way. Rob Lowell with a big head of steam, maybe tried to make it 3 wide, didn't quite get to where he needed to with Johnny Barker there. Man, Rob Lowell, a big time wall hit to the 21 machine. And I think that takes out both Rob and Johnny Barker for candidates for the lucky dog here. So with a quick caution here from our last one, I'm going to go through it to a quick commercial break, make sure all my settings are good from that restart, and we'll be right back here in 30 seconds, folks. Alrighty, folks, we come back here at Phoenix just after the halfway point, and a flurry of cautions right after the halfway point here. First one being brought out by the 15 machine, and then contact between the 21 and the 81. I think the 21 may be done here tonight, so that would be a tough break there, as he was battling Stephen Holmes for the points there. So the car that did get the lucky dog was the one car of Brandon Guerin. Going to be one of those 6 cars on the lead lap here, as lights will go out around the Phoenix Raceway, and we get ready to go back to green flag racing here. As I'm hearing radio chatter from the 31 having to serve a penalty, so Delgado's going to try and get that done out of the way, but it's going to be Pogo zinging on the front row for restart number 3. Jeff Pogo gets on the loud pedal, and we go back to green flag racing. Oh, Pogo maybe missed a shift. He did not get a good restart there. Delgado gets an opening, able to get it onto the apron. We'll head to pit road here, so that done all safely. Same with the 62 of Frank Zingen, as well as Stephen Holmes, all of them down on pit road. So if that shakes on out, that could only leave 3 cars on the lead lap here. That being Jeff Pogo, Dan Dill, and Brandon Guerin. Wow, what a crazy race. So 1 car sideways here, big time hit to the inside wall. Oh, you hate to see it. It was a Riptide Radio number 9 machine of Jeff Barefoot. Also, we hear a pit call here from the 30 machine of Caton. You hate to see it for Barefoot there. Hopefully he can get that car to pit road. Hopefully he has another fast repair and can finish this race on out. As Jeff Pogo leads the way. Then behind him, Dustin Coggin currently sits, I believe, in the lucky dog spot here in the 42 machine. So he just has to hope there's another yellow flag here in this race. Matthew Taylor also lapped down. Then we head to Dan Dill. He is actually running second, but in a flurry of lap down cars. And all the way in the back of this pack sits 3rd place Brandon Guerin. So, yeah, with that caution coming out in the middle of pit stops, it caused some craziness here, folks. Frank Zingen here trying to battle Jeff Pogo. Zingen trying not to go 2 laps down, and that's definitely a big-time move where Zingen going to have to try and hold off the 97 for as long as he can. Because once you go 2 laps down here, folks, it is very tough to get 2 laps back by the end of a race. As, a caution flag comes on out. Did Zingen hold on to that spot? It looks like he did, so a huge break for the 62, as well as the 42 of Dustin Coggin. I think the slow car was an 81 machine of Dan Dill. Yes, it was. So we'll take a look here, see what happened to Dill here down the kind of quote-unquote backstretch, let's call it. So Dill on the inside of Matthew Taylor just, loses that back end like we saw many of times before. Able to keep it off the wall, keep it out of harm's way with the cars coming. So an awesome save by Dan Dill, but he definitely didn't want to cause that yellow because he was one of the 3 cars on the lead lap. Now that changes quite a bit. I shouldn't say quite a bit, because now it changes it where there's now 4 cars on the lead lap. As there goes the 42 machine of Coggin. He is the lucky dog here under our 4th caution flag of the night. So, in theory, if this race goes green to the end, I mean, Guerin, Dill, Coggin, all pretty much guaranteed a top 5 finish. Alrighty, lights go out for our 4th restart of the night here on lap 93. Now on the front row, it's going to be Jeff Pogo and Brandon Guerin. Dan Dill going to restart in the 3rd position. Right now, it's Matthew Taylor currently in the lucky dog spot. 4th place, Dustin Coggin with him being the wave round. Gets to restart all the way back at the tail end of the field. As here we go, restart number 4 underway. Pogo, Guerin on the front row. Of course, Guerin winning last week's race at Las Vegas. This time, Jeff Pogo on the money on the restart. We'll bring along Dan Dill up into 2nd here. Rest of the field will haul through turns 1 and 2. 3 wide action here. We get contact. Christian Delgado goes around in front of Stephen Holmes. And now another caution here coming on out. As Delgado, I think, got tagged from Stephen Holmes. And as old Darrell Waltrip said, cautions breed cautions here. As we take a look here, see what happened. Christian Delgado probably looking up through his windshield, trying to make it 3 wide here. Holmes having a big time momentum and just tags the left rear of the 31 machine. But everyone else doing a great job at avoiding that, as everyone able to get through without any sort of big damage. So a heck of a job by everyone to get on around that. So with that caution, that should now move up Matthew Taylor into the lucky dog spot, as well as move him onto the lead lap. So with this caution, we now have 5 cars on the lead lap. As here goes Matthew Taylor getting the way around here. So now it's 5 cars up on the lead lap. And yeah, Rob, appreciate your comment there. And yeah, it looked like just hard racing and 3 wide racing kind of got gone wrong there. So appreciate the apology. I'm sure both Dan and Johnny will appreciate that. But yeah, with all that strategy call, you know, worked out all right, at least for the moment, for Dan Dill, currently running in second somehow. As you have Matthew Taylor making it around the track, will once again tag on to the end of the field here and restart from the back of the field. Of course, he has to do that, being the lucky dog here. But the big thing for Taylor is he is on the lead lap here. So lights will go out once again, and we get ready for our 5th restart of the night. This time it is Jeff Pogo once again leading the field, of course, but now his teammate Dan Dill restarting to his outside. So you know this front row is going to get a pretty decent start. These guys going to work together, time things on out probably, and make things happen. But now Dustin Coggin gets to restart up in the field here. What does the 42 machine have? Got that damage repaired and back on the lead lap. If we go green to the end, he's pretty much got a top 5 finish here as we get closer now to only 60 laps to go. Here we go for the restart. It's going to be Pogo and Dill on the front row. Jeff Pogo away, Dan Dill right there with him. Those two get a great start with each other, able to slot in line, and they will try and check on out. At the moment now, it's going to be Frank Zingen currently in the lucky dog spot, so he's going to have to try and hope for a caution flag at some point, not involving himself, and he'll be the next car on the lead lap here at the moment. But he's going to have to hold off the likes of Jason Wiley, Johnny Barker, who is on a mission. Or if one of these guys, oh, heads up, save it there, Jason. Oh, heads up field. Oh, we'll tag Matthew Taylor, and somehow no caution there as Jason Wiley gets a big time lazy slide. We saw that from Johnny Barker and Frank Zingen, but he will slide it across the track, will tag the 8 of Matthew Taylor. So Taylor now has quite a bit of nose damage, but like I said before, a lot could happen to him, but if we stay green, he's pretty much got a top 5 wrapped up. Battle for second here as Dustin Coggin gets around Dan Dill for second. And then right behind them, battle for a transfer spot here, folks. Johnny Barker trying to work around Frank Zingen. Brandon Guerin right there in front of him. Guerin, of course, on the lead lap, not trying to fight with these guys. He's just trying to keep this race green. As, oh, Johnny Barker will get into the side of Brandon Guerin. No harm, no foul there. Everyone keeps it rolling here as Johnny Barker once again tries to set his sights on the 62. Not a battle for a lead lap spot, but more importantly, a battle for the lucky dog spot, because right now, as you can see on the left side of the screen, 5 cars, 1 lap down here, so it is very, very important to try and get that lucky dog and get back on the lead lap here, as Frank Zingen trying to get around Dan Dill, as well as hold off the 6 of Johnny Barker. Zingen has a run here off turn number 2, gets to the inside of the 81 machine. Will be able to clear him here, at least on entry. What kind of run does the 81 get? No, Zingen will slam the door. Contact between Johnny Barker and Dan Dill. Dan Dill will go around. As wow, so Dan Dill goes around from contact with Johnny Barker 1 lap down, but it looks like with that though, Frank Zingen will be the lucky dog candidate there, just happening behind him. So we take a look here at the start finish line. Johnny Barker maybe thought Dan Dill was going to be a few more inches higher, but that was definitely very, very close racing, especially not for position. But Dan Dill has a lazy slide, will 360 it on around, and luckily everyone looking past their hood pins, no one tags the 81 machine or anything like that. So looks like Dill will head down pit road here. As yeah, crazy season finale here tonight. As it looks like Dan Dill, Matthew Taylor, and Christian Delgado all down on pit road here. I believe this time by here at the stripe, the 62 machine of Frank Zingen will now make it 6 cars on the lead lap. So we have went from 3 cars on the lead lap after the pit stop cycles and penalties, and we have at least grown it up to 6. As yeah, here goes the 62, our pole sitter here tonight, Frank Zingen, back onto the lead lap. So with that here, folks, we're going to go to a quick commercial break, another 30-second commercial, just to make sure I can pull up the points here and make sure I have that all correct here as we get into the late stages of the race, closing in on 50 laps to go. Don't go anywhere, folks. We will be right back. So here we go, folks, back at Phoenix for the 6th restart of the night here. iRacing pace car makes the very early left-hand turn down pit road. And now it's going to be Jeff Pogo once again leading the field to green, but now Dustin Coggin to his outside. Brandon Guerin gets the restart up in the pack, same with Matthew Taylor. Frank Zingen will tag on to the end of the field there with the lucky dog, and here we go. Jeff Pogo fired out of a cannon. He is gone. Dan Dill able to get down here in second, has no battle for that position. Now Dan Dill will hold off at least Brandon Guerin at the moment. Looking back a little bit further at the battle for the lucky dog transfer. Right now, that lucky dog candidate is the 6 car of Johnny Barker. Next closest car, about 10 or 15 car lengths back, is the 90 machine of Stephen Holmes. So we'll see if Holmes can track down the 6 or if Barker can hold on to that. Barker now just has to hope for a caution flag. Battle for third position, heating on up here as Brandon Guerin gets some momentum up top. Lifted pretty early there, and with that allows Matthew Taylor to get to the inside. So Guerin goes from the attack to now the defense and loses the spot as Matthew Taylor gets around the 1 car. That puts Taylor up into 4th here. Now we'll try and track down Dan Dill. Last time Taylor was on pit road was lap 105, so Taylor definitely did some damage repair to that number 8. And I assume he did take some tires because that car, one of the fastest out on track here at the moment. Taylor gonna take a peek to the outside of the 81 machine. We'll see what kind of momentum he can carry there. Looks like lost the front end just a little bit on exit, so couldn't quite get a big run down the backstretch there. We'll have to try and set him back up here as Dan Dill now closing the gap for second as he is caught within 2 car lengths of Dustin Coggin. Man, it seems like Jeff Pogo didn't have the qualifying pace or what he needed to do in qualifying, but when it has come race time, that 97 has seemed really, really sporty here. As second through fifth starting to tighten on up here. It's about to get good here, folks, for the battle inside the top 5 and maybe some podium finishers here tonight. We're going to ride on board with the 42, looking back at the battles behind him. As we ride on board with Dustin Coggin, taking a look at the lap times as well for the 42 machine. And you can hear there, folks, how patient you have to be to get on that loud pedal, especially off of turn number 2. That corner seems like it goes on forever. And you don't want to step on it too early. We saw many of cars get out of sorts on the exit of turn number 2, but it seems like Coggin able to start to drive away from the cars behind here. Actually start to reel in our race leader just a little bit. Pogo, pretty much the car with the oldest tires out there on track. Last pitted on lap 79. Most everyone else has pitted from 85 on back. Last time by, our race leader Jeff Pogo did a 28.76, whereas Dustin Coggin did a 28.70. So a half a tenth faster for the 42 machine, and he is coming as, oh, look at this, Dan Dill on pit road here under green flag. Not sure if that was a scheduled stop or not, but yeah, Dill down on pit road, so that's at least going to put the 81 machine at least one lap down here, if not more. We head back up to the battle for the race lead here. Coggin within 0.2 of a second of Pogo. This time by at the stripe, we will have 40 laps to go here, folks, and I think we have a battle for the race lead here. As yeah, Dan Dill definitely goes at least one lap down. We'll see if not more. Also further on back here, we got to keep an eye on this. Oh man, caution comes out right when I was going to say Johnny Barker and Christian Delgado just battling for the lucky dog spot. And I think Johnny Barker will hang on to that spot. Wow. Johnny Barker getting the perfectly timed yellow there, as I believe the 15 machine was the culprit here of our 7th yellow. We'll take a look, see what happened to him. And oh, definitely got some help from the 62 machine, as He got a shot in the shorts there, got the car all upset, tried to save it. And man, what a heck of a job Eli Raposa does to not make contact with the spinning 15 machine here, as we will maybe take it back full speed, try and ride on board with Raposa just to check out this reaction time here, folks. As all that was a little bit. As here we go, riding on board with the 46 machine, see him out of sorts, and then there's the big wobble. Wow. Raposa just able to squeak on by there. So with that caution here, folks, field down on pit road. And there's one guy that I was excited to see that caution. Even though he was leading the race, it was Jeff Pogo, because he was starting to get some big time pressure from some cars behind him there on fresher rubber. So that puts everyone pretty much on the same strategy. If the driver was on the lead lap there, it looks like they came down on pit road to get some fresh rubber. So yeah, Johnny Barker able to get the lucky dog that time, so that will move now 6 cars up into the lead lap here. It looks like Matthew Taylor and Brandon Guerin both staying out on the racetrack here. So it looks like Matthew Taylor gonna lead his first laps of the night, as well as lead the field to the green flag here. As yeah, top 5 for the restart going to be Matthew Taylor, then Brandon Guerin, Jeff Pogo, Dustin Coggin, Frank Zingen will make up the top 5 here. Johnny Barker going to tag on to the end of the field here once he gets rolling after his pit stop. So Matthew Taylor started deep in the field here tonight. I believe did not take a qualifying time. Or sorry, he did. It was not the greatest lap time. I think definitely had some sort of issue with it. And since then, been working his way up through the front. Got some nose damage. But now the 8 car leading the field to green with 35 laps to go. Here we go. Matthew Taylor gets away with a pretty good start here. Where does Frank Zingen end up filing on out? Heads up here as we have a car just coming out of pits here. Big time stack up through the field, but it looks like everyone able to get rolling. Jason Wiley going to pick up a little bit of nose damage. I think making contact to the back of Dan Dill there. Wow, that could have been very, very bad. Oh, one car sideways through the dog leg, I should say. Dustin Coggins, a big time moment, somehow hangs onto that race car, but will lose quite a bit of spots. But even with that, he still stays in the top 5. So now Coggin just has to put his head down, get back in the game here. Frank Zingen with those moves down, cutting the dog leg, able to get up in his second here. Both Zingen and Pogo pitted under that last yellow, so both these guys have the same amount of freshness in their tires. How do they use them to the end? That is the question. Matthew Taylor doing a heck of a job hanging on to the race lead here, but how much longer can he do it as Frank Zingen once again cuts the dog leg here and gets ever so closer to the W number 8. Oh man, Taylor misses the entry there into 1. That will open up the door for Frank Zingen. Frank Zingen, rebound of the night, led the field to green, got trapped a lap down, as well as involved in some stuff, but he is back out to the point. As Jeff Pogo will clear Matthew Taylor for second. So it may be a dogfight here between Pogo and Zingen for the race win here. At the moment, it is Christian Delgado in the lucky dog spot here. He just has to hang on to this spot, not be involved in the yellow, and then he will get his turn to get back onto the lead lap. Last time by, way far in the back, Johnny Barker. Best lap of anyone throughout the race. Last time by did a 28.19. So he is flying. The question is, I don't think he has to use up that much tire being stuck back as far as he is. I think he just has to kind of hold on to those fresh tires till a caution if we do get one. But here we go. Battle for the race lead starting to heat on up a little bit. Pogo able to hold a lower line there through 1 and 2. It helps him pick up and chip away at the race lead that Frank Zingen has. Now within 0.2 of a second, within 2 car lengths is Jeff Pogo. Let's ride on board with the 97 here. Maybe not, as they get side by side for the race lead here. Frank Zingen will have the momentum here off turn number 2. And yeah, let's ride on board with Jeff Pogo. See how difficult it is to race with a car right there in front of you, to hit your marks and not overdrive what the race car is giving you. And you can see there Frank Zingen a little bit higher through 1 and 2, allows a little bit of a diamond arc through the corner, allows a straighter exit, so gives up a little bit of time at the apex, but able to carry a nice run down the backstretch. As Jeff Pogo definitely not on the aggressive yet, has not cut the dog leg yet, so if the 97 here really wants to make a move, be sure to expect that to come out of him if he wants a big time shot at the race lead here. Dustin Coggin there after that big slide through the dog leg, able to get around Brandon Guerin, now able to get around Matthew Taylor. So the 42 machine back up into a podium spot here, right behind Christian Delgado, who Delgado currently our lucky dog candidate. As one car hard into the wall there in turn number 1. That is the 15 machine here once again having some issues, as it looks like he will keep it against the fence here, but a tough night for the 15 machine. Last time by, we got into the countdown clock here, folks. It is now going to be 24 to go at the stripe. I tell you what, it is a barn burner to the finish out here. As I'll have to double check my notes here, folks. I'm going to try and look at it while we're watching this battle, but I believe Frank Zingen has not visited Victory Lane yet this season. And yeah, I believe that is the case. So what a way it would be for the 62 to end the season with a win. And not only that, I think that could definitely do him well in the points. You know, he sits 5 points back from Brandon Guerin, 6 points back from Dustin Coggin. And right now, with this win and the bonus points that come with it, that could allow him to maybe just finish outside of the top 5 in points. Because currently, 5th is being held by Rob Lowell, but Lowell was about 24 points ahead of Zingen here, and I think at worst, Lowell will finish, 18 points off of, I should say Zingen should finish 18 points off of Lowell, as we get a caution here, folks. With 22 laps to go, where did that come from? It looks like it might be we saw beat up number 9 as, yeah, maybe Jeff Barefoot involved with this one. So we'll take a look here, see what happened for our 8th caution of the night. And yeah, that tricky 1 and 2, very easy to get the car out from under you, and then it is a very, very difficult task to save a race car, especially these next gen cars. As a little bit of strategy out here tonight. We got some split calls here with a restart inside of 20 to go. Frank Zingen from the race lead down on pit road. Same with Brandon Guerin, Dan Dill, Jason Wiley. I think it's only Zingen and Guerin pitting from the lead lap. So that now leaves Jeff Pogo, Dustin Coggins. I'm surprised Matthew Taylor did not come down pit road there. And it looks like Johnny Barker are all going to stay on out. So with the time of the caution here, Christian Delgado able to get the wave around here, able to get onto the lead lap. So now that moves up to a total of 7 cars on the lead lap here tonight. So it will be a 18 lap shootout when we go back green here. Lights will go out on the Phoenix Raceway, and we'll re-rack them, restack them, and send them on off for the 8th restart of the night. It's going to be a Pogo Coggin front row here on the restart. Coming into tonight, top 10 in points look like Jeff Pogo leading the way. Johnny Barker 2nd in points. Christian Delgado 3rd in points. And it's Stephen Holmes 4th in points. Rob Lowell in 5th. Dustin Coggins 6th. Brandon Guerin 7th. Frank Zingen 8th. Justin Branham 9th. And Dan Dill in 10th. So that is the top 10 in the standings coming into tonight. And a lot of guys within a reach of other positions. Top 3 pretty much locked on up, but 4th on back. Still anyone's game as here we go. Jeff Pogo on the loud pedal. We go back to green flag racing for a sprint to the finish. That time Jeff Pogo gonna use the dog leg there. Try and get an advantage, go on the defense. Doesn't want to see any sort of crazy moves behind him. Frank Zingen here. He is one of the cars we got to keep an eye on. Same with the one of Brandon Guerin. Guerin picking up the win last week at Vegas with a great strategy call from the one. Can he do it 2 weeks in a row? Brandon Guerin up into 4th here and trying to get up to the front as quickly as possible. Matthew Taylor will slide right across the nose of the number 1. He's going to cross him over, get to the inside here in turn number 3. Brandon Guerin with those new shoes on that race car looking very sporty. And he has now probably the toughest passes to make here as he tries to set up Dustin Coggin. And then what does he have for Jeff Pogo? Battle further on back, not for any sort of positions battle. We do have to keep an eye on, though, is Stephen Holmes and Dan Dill. Stephen Holmes here in the gray and neon green or yellow machine, as well as Dan Dill right behind him. Oh, contact there between Holmes and Barker. Both drivers able to hang on to the race car, but like I was saying, Holmes and Dill both battling for the lucky dog position. Right now, both cars right next to each other on track. Further up front, Brandon Guerin gets around Dustin Coggin. Brandon Guerin puts the pressure on our race leader with 14 laps to go. And don't count our pole sitter out yet, Frank Zingen, all over the back bumper of Coggin. It is anyone's race here at the end of this one. It's time to go at the stripe. It will be 13 now to go. Zingen able to get around the 42 machine. Can he catch the front two? And I think he will, especially if those two start to get battling up here. Jeff Pogo gonna make this pass very, very difficult. Leaves the top side open. Here comes Brandon Guerin. How deep can the one car drive it in there? Looks like not too deep. Does he try the crossover? As here we go, Brandon Guerin gonna cut the dog leg. Where will he slot back in with Pogo? Has a half a car advantage, drives it in there deep. Contact there as Guerin slides right across the nose of Pogo. But Brandon Guerin gonna be able to put the power down with the new shoes. Brandon Guerin gonna pick up the race lead here. Frank Zingen knows he has to get around the 97 here in a hurry. Not allowing Brandon Guerin to get too far out in front. Zingen here gets big time sideways, able to hang on to that race car, but that will keep Pogo besides him. And now here comes Dustin Coggins. More contact down the backstretch, as I think a little bit of net code there, but everyone able to hang on to those race cars at the moment. That time by from our flagman, 2 open palms. It's 10 laps to go. Frank Zingen gets up into second. Can he chase down Brandon Guerin? As here comes Jeff Pogo. He will try to move to the inside of the 62. Gonna be a tough move to make stick with those older tires. Now it is single digits to go. Brandon Guerin up into the race lead here. Frank Zingen in second. Remember, coming into tonight, Brandon Guerin came in 7th in points. Oh, it's contact, and Frank Zingen goes around. He will get tagged by the 6 car of Johnny Barker. Oh man, oh man. And I believe the 81 machine, yeah, Dan Dill around as well. So I believe that will make it only Stephen Holmes with the Lucky Dog wave around with 8 to go. And I have to think Jeff Pogo definitely coming down to pit road here. So we'll try and slow this on down, see what happened in turns 1 and 2 here. Frank Zingen currently in second. Jeff Pogo trying to hang on to third. And it looks like just different lines with different speeds and closing rates. And Pogo just gets into the left rear there of Frank Zingen. And then Johnny Barker through the smoke, a straight shot to the door of the 62 machine. And then, yeah, Dan Dill trying to avoid, spins the car out low and actually tags the pit barrels there. So we'll ride on board with the 81 machine of Dan Dill and see what happened, because at the moment Dan Dill in the transfer spot here, and then just, yeah, lose the back end, and then, yeah, there's the hard hit to those cones, as that is a tough break for the 81 machine. And I'm surprised to see it, Jeff Pogo not down on pit road here. So saw the advantage of Brandon Guerin and Frank Zingen had with those fresher tires, but does not come down pits here to take his own set. So all season long, for every race, all drivers had 3 sets over the wall. I'm pretty sure Jeff Pogo, yeah, he definitely has a set over the wall, because he's only been down pit road 2 times. So Pogo definitely has a set, but I think maybe he just worried about that track position more, because once we go back racing, it's going to be now a sprint to the finish of about a 5-lap shootout. So Stephen Holmes was the lucky dog candidate that time by. That'll put Holmes up onto the lead lap here, and at least at the moment, we'll put 8 cars finishing on the lead lap here tonight. Looks like Dan Dill having extensive pit road repairs on the number 81, so Dill might be done for the night. That would be a tough break for him as he comes into tonight 10th in points. Pretty much has it locked up for him, so we'll have a top 10 finish in the points for Dan Dill, but probably not the race he wanted to have here at the end. So Brandon Guerin, last week's winner at Las Vegas. Can he go 2 in a row here at the end? It's going to be Guerin Pogo on the front row of the restart. A 5-lap shootout to end season number 5. Here we go. As one car sideways right away. That was the 8 car of Matthew Taylor. I think he got some help from the 62 machine of Frank Zingen. But a caution right away. I believe that will put now Jason Wiley into the wave around spot and should put Wiley onto the lead lap here. And this will be attempt number 1 at an overtime here. So we'll try and see what happened on the restart here. And tough to see live here as we get ready, and they will go up in front, and you can see Taylor. He kind of spun his own tires and lost it on his own there. I don't think he got too much help actually from the 62 of Zingen. I think Matthew Taylor just had to get on the binders. I think he had to get on the binders and then maybe jumped on the throttle, got some wheel spin, and I think didn't really get some help from the 62 of Zingen. So it looks like Christian Delgado once again had to leave early at Las Vegas. Gonna have to do the same here tonight. So Delgado able to fight his way up into the top 5 here, but with this race going on here tonight, having to call things early again for his other league. So tough break for Delgado, but nothing to hold his head about when it's all things said and done, because Delgado will walk away with a podium finish in the standings, wrapping up P number 3 here. Yeah, it's going to be very close on the points here. Brandon Guerin came in about 19 points back from Rob Lowe, and with a win here tonight, I think that puts him at 19 exactly, because with the lap led as well as the ARCA points for winning, you get 3 points compared to the rest, and with Rob finishing 15th, it's going to be very, very close for that 5th in points. The other guy that could steal it, though, is our 42, Dustin Coggin. He sits 1 point ahead of Brandon Guerin, 6th in points, and he restarts 3rd. So here we go, attempt number 1 at a green-white checkered. This time it's Brandon Guerin leading the field to green. Jeff Pogo to his outside. We'll see how far the field can make it. As here we go, Brandon Guerin gonna swing the field wide, gets into the restart zone, and on the loud pedal, a great restart from the number 1. Interesting call, Brandon Guerin, nor none of the field really hits the dog leg there. I'm surprised to see that as we see this battle for the lead here. Dustin Coggins drove it in deep, tried to make it work, but will lose the run off the corner. Brandon Guerin gonna try and run away from the rest of them. Battle for a podium, though, is anyone's game here as we see the white flag. 1 more lap to go for season number 5, as we have a great battle between Coggins, Zingen, and Pogo for the 3rd position. Stephen Holmes right there as well. Holmes going to get to the inside of the 62. And it's going to be 3 wide off the corner. Contact here. Frank Zingen will go around. Our pole sitter goes around. Same with, I believe, the 90. But at the stripe, Brandon Guerin picks up the win. He will go 2 in a row. Dustin Coggin, best career finish of the season for him. He will finish second. And Jeff Pogo on the old tires will hang on to third. Wow, what a finish here, folks. As what a race here tonight. Jeff Pogo with that, able to be the season number 5 champion. As wow. As here at the stripe, it looks like Jason Wiley might have ran out of fuel here. So Brandon Guerin coming to his victory, able to push the 13 machine across the stripe. And Brandon Guerin will burn it on down here on the front stretch, able to walk away with 2 wins in a row to round out the season. We'll pick up 3 during the whole entire season. And of course, Jeff Pogo parked on victory lane. He is our season number 5 champion. As wow, what a great race. What a great season. Congrats to all the drivers. Thanks to all of them to put on a show here. As a little bit of high fives. And of course, we know this guy gonna burn it on down for the championship. Jeff Pogo puts together a stellar season and able to walk away with the big trophy after 21 races. No playoffs, 2 drop weeks to make things interesting, and Jeff Pogo comes out the best of the best for season number 5. As yeah, big time to both. Congrats to Jeff and Brandon here. Real quick, we got to take a look at that last lap incident here off turn number 4. Stephen Holmes gets into the left rear quarter panel of Frank Zingen. Both those cars will go spinning. I believe Stephen Holmes, yeah, does get tagged again. So we'll try and see one more time, see what happened. As yeah, we'll come across the stripe. Oh, Jason Wiley didn't run out of fuel. I think his motor blew on out. But yeah, big time hits there at the end. So yeah, Jeff Pogo once again burning it on down here at the stripe. And once again, big time congrats to him, as well as we got to give a big shout out one last time to Jeff Barefoot for being a part of this league, a big member of this league, and all the great laughs and frustrations he has shared in racing. Thank you again, Jeff. We really appreciate you, and enjoy your time that you get to save on the Sunday nights, as well as all your fun adventures you have in store. So we'll go do a quick commercial break. On the other side, we'll chat with our top 3, and usually third gets talked to first, but we're saving Jeff Pogo till the end. So it'll be second, first, and then Jeff Pogo. So we'll be right back after a commercial break.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we come back here to Phoenix Raceway season finale here. And the first driver we'll be talking to here is our runner-up finisher, that being the 42 machine of Dustin Coggin. Dustin, you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yeah, hey, Brett.
How are we doing, my man? A crazy race to end things on off, but you hang on to second. How'd you do it?
Man, I don't know, man. Having old tires there, I thought it was pretty much over. I thought they were just going to blow by me, but on that restart, I was able to stay on Brandon and get past Pogo and kind of stop his run so he couldn't get back around me. And then Frank was behind me on old tires too, so he was trying to get up through there. So it was wild, man. I really didn't think I'd end up second here, but when we had those that long green run, man, I had caught Pogo and I was like, man, if this keeps going, I'll be good. So of course we had them yellows and messed up my strategy, and I thought I threw it away again because I used my last set of tires too early. And I asked Brandon, I said, what do you think we should do? And he said, I don't know. I'm probably going to keep a set. And I said, well, I'm going to burn one, and because most of it's been yellow. But it was pretty fun, man. I enjoyed it. It was a good race. It's super hot and super slick, so you had to be very careful. I got a few out of shape a few times, but I gathered it back up.
Yeah, we definitely saw that. And even from the drop of the green flag, Dustin, we saw you on the move quickly into the top 5 there. It seemed like you had some really good pace. And then all of a sudden, we saw some decent right side damage. Where did that come from? And then how'd that affect your car there? Because it seemed like it was a handful after that.
Yeah, I got up into the marbles or something, man. If you pretty much go 30 feet past where your mark is, you'll blow the corner and then get up in the junk, and then it's over with, man. I was just trying not to spin out, and I just licked the wall one time. It probably slowed me down about 0.2. It was enough where I could kind of keep going. I didn't have to pit, luckily. So if when we had them green flag ones, I just pitted and took my fast repair and hoped nothing else happened to me.
Yeah, luckily nothing happened there. Was able to get one of those wave rounds, because I don't think you're one of the 3 cars that were on the lead lap, right, with all those cautions.
No, I did have to get a wave around one time. It was actually, man, I was up front I was probably running right behind the leader when all that happened, and it happened behind me. For once, I actually get lucky, and it helped me instead of hurts me.
Yeah, that it did. Able to get on the lead lap, and then, yeah, we saw, very few cars on the lead lap, so even with a mistake, able to stay inside the top 5. I mean, we saw a big slide there late in the race by you in the dog leg as well, and able to hang on to that race car somehow. How much did that get the blood pumping for you?
Oh, man, I was in here swatting flies trying to get that thing to not hit the wall, because, man, I went down there and hit the apron, and I had practiced it a few times, so I knew about where I needed to be. And I don't know, I guess I was not 100% straight or something, because as soon as I hit it, it went bonkers. So, but luckily I kept it clean and I didn't wreck anybody else when I came back up on the track. So that's really what I was more worried about.
Yeah, heck of a save by you there, Dustin. Yeah, heck of a finish to end things off in a green-white checker. We know those are high stakes, like you said, able to get the moves done, block Pogo's run, as well as keep that chaos behind you, because I'm sure you saw the chaos unfolding in your rear view going down the backstretch for the final time.
Yeah, it was definitely wild, man. This place kind of drives like a short track, especially when the track temp's like it is. So you got to be aggressive to make passes, but also, man, you got to mind where your car is and mind where everybody else is too, or else it'll be bad.
Yeah, and that is for sure the case. We saw many of times people, even get sideways on their own, either in 1 and 2 or even just off at 2. I mean, how difficult was it to tiptoe around this car? Like you said, with the temperatures, it had to make it very difficult to know the limit and then be able to kind of walk the tightrope on that limit.
Yeah, it was pretty hard, man. Like I said, if you miss your braking point by 30 feet, man, your car would just 4-wheel drift up the hill, and there was nothing you could do except sit there and just let off everything and try to drive out of it. So it was pretty difficult. I knew in practice it was going to be like that, so I kind of just focused on making good, consistent laps and try to keep it up under me. Because if you slid it probably 2 corners back to back, it would take you forever to get it back under you.
Oh, I bet that's the case. You gotta love the tire model with how temperature sensitive these cars, but it creates a little discipline. And Dustin, your last great finish was on kind of another short track at Bristol. Here tonight, season finale, you topped that by 1 spot, able to finish runner up. How were you feeling coming into tonight? Was this a track that you enjoy, or was it just that short track mentality coming out here?
Yeah, this definitely isn't very high up on my list. Mainly because of the dog leg and people cut it and they come back up on the racetrack, man. It causes, a lot of problems. People, not in this league, but especially if you run a bunch of officials when they're here, it's terrible. Like, people just come up the racetrack and clean you out. So, I mean, that's really why I don't like it. As far as the racing here, it's usually pretty decent. I like the racing here, but, it's just the other people. As long as you have a good group, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, and it definitely seemed like a fun one here tonight. And of course, with it being championship night, you come into a great points battle between yourself, Brandon Guerin, Frank Zingen, as well as those guys just in front of you. Rob Lowell having a tough night, and Stephen Holmes, I think, finishes all right for himself. So when it's all said and done, I think you for sure have probably around 6 locked up. It's going to be close where it all funnels on out. Was that ever in the back of your head here?
Yeah, I wanted to bust into the top 5 in points, man, but I didn't miss a race and I had 2 or 3 bad ones, so I kind of knew it was gonna be hard to do. I knew some people were gonna have bad luck. I know Rob did. Brandon, I think, jumped me because he won. He was like a point below me, but now I think I'm in 7th. But I mean, I'm happy with that, man. It was fun. Like I said, I missed one race, and the other 2, my drop races were where I wrecked out or something happened or whatever, But it was fun, man. I enjoyed it. Points racing is fun. It kind of brings a whole different outlook on how you drive people and stuff.
Oh yeah, it does. And it all comes down to that season-long mentality where you just want to have good finishes throughout the season. If you can do that, at the end of it, usually somewhere inside the top 10 like yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually, man. I try to like to be in the top 5, but I mean, sometimes things happen, man. Sometimes you hit the wall in qualifying both laps and it don't work out. So when that kind of stuff happens, you kind of more have to race the track than you do the people. So that's kind of the way I look at it.
Yeah, it definitely is the case here. And well, once again, Dustin, congrats on the second here tonight. Congrats on a great season here. A couple podiums for you when it's all things said and done. And I think season number 6 right around the corner. When do you plan to be back, and what's maybe some early expectations for next season?
I'll be back whenever they say it's starting back up. Like I'm always free on Sunday night because my daughter, she's 8, she goes to school, so I got to be home getting her ready to do that. So next year, man, if I could just run consistent and not stay out of trouble in the few races that I got in trouble in, I probably would have been a little bit higher up and would have had a shot at something else. But you never know. That's the part of racing.
Yep, that it is. I always like to say it pays to be lucky in racing most of the time than good, right?
Oh yeah, when I used to help my friend go dirt track racing, man, he had a super late model that we used to go race, and he'd always say, he said, I'd rather be lucky than good sometimes, and it's true.
Yes, it is. Well, Dustin, always a great time chatting with you. Once again, congrats on the runner-up finish. Best finish all season coming here tonight at Phoenix. So before we let you go and celebrate the runner-up finish, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and have you thank who you got to thank, whether teammates, sponsors on the car, as well as maybe people tuning on into the broadcast.
Yeah, man, I'll thank Penny Stackers Motorsports. That's me, Brandon, Frank, Jason, and John. All of them guys, man, we have a lot of fun. We have a good time when we race, and we all enjoy each other. My buddies at Old Money Racing, that's kind of my group that I run all these other leagues with. The ARCA league that me and you are racing in. Them guys that I race with, that's what they are. So I got a group of about 12 of us that all race together. So them guys, Riding Dirty, Fleet Watching, that's me and my buddy's company that we do. So that's usually what I do on the weekends. So and Gentry Used Auto Parts, they're big help, and I appreciate all the car's really good every weekend, man. We unload and we're competitive, and that's what we come here for.
Yeah, awesome stuff here, Dustin. So once again, congrats here on the finish here tonight, and you, my man, have yourself a great rest of the night and have a great off season. And I'm sure we'll be seeing you out on track on those Thursday nights, as well as excited to see you back on track here Sunday when that season kicks on off.
All right, Brett, you have a good one, man.
All righty. Thank you. You as well, Dustin. So that was our runner-up finisher, Dustin Coggins, here tonight at Phoenix. And now let's head on over to our race winner, the one car of Brandon Guerin. Brandon, do you got a copy?
Brett, how we doing?
Man, pretty good. How are you feeling? 2 in a row
Well,
to end the season.
that feels pretty good. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's nice.
I bet it is. And yeah, sorry to kind of maybe get your hopes up. Last week, I was looking actually the Sim Racer Hub points, and I guess those aren't the most up-to-date,
Yeah.
showing you a little bit higher. So coming into tonight, we got to talk about points, of course. You came in 7th, 1 point behind your teammate Dustin. I think when the dust settles, my man, I think you got that top 5.
Yeah, we ended up passing Dustin. I don't know. I think Dustin had looked. He said I ended up a point behind Rob. There's some difference between the iRacing one and the Sim Racer Hub ones, which is a bummer because I like the Sim Racer Hub website with like all the stat. It gives you all the other stats for the our whole career, which is nice. But for some reason, the points aren't what we decided to use this year. Maybe next season, future seasons, we'll use the Sim Racer Hub one. But for this season, yeah, the iRacing ones are the official points, and I'm not sure if we ended up 6th or 5th. But either way, after the way we started this season, I'm very happy with it.
Yeah, I bet, Brandon. Tonight, definitely an up and down night for the number 1. It seemed like, had some good speed here, qualified with that one shot at it. We watched it live, able to get 3rd. Some pressure right there to start the night, just in and of itself, right?
Yeah, luckily that start finish line wasn't another 100 feet down because we started losing it off turn 4, and we were basically sideways coming across the line. So to end up 3rd in the qualifying was nice. Frank got the pole, which was nice for him, and yeah, just very up and down. The long run speed felt good, but then like we pit on that first one, then we get stuck the lap down, and then we get that quick caution where then we end up being the lucky dog. Everybody got like some penalty. Somehow I cycled up to 2nd after getting the lucky dog. It was just very crazy. And then again, like last week, we played a little bit of tire strategy at the end of the race and paid off again.
Yeah, that it did. And I mean, how much did last week play into tonight? That last week you saved a set late. It worked out great for you. Here tonight, pretty much a carbon copy, different track, but same result, the one car visiting victory lane.
I would say this week was a little different than last week. I knew I was the only one with tires left. This week I thought, and Pogo told me in the waiting room that he did have a set still laying. So like there was a time when Dustin pitted and then Pogo pitted. I was like, if I pit now, this is gonna be my last set, and then we get another caution, I'm stuck with what I got, and Pogo's gonna have another fresh set. So then when the caution comes with 20 to go, we put those on. But Pogo didn't pit, and it really threw me off. So I didn't know, like, was he banking for another caution, which he would have got, but he didn't pit, and luckily we were the beneficiary.
Yeah, I'll be curious to ask Jeff as well with that strategy. Maybe he was thinking track position, but it just seemed like tires were just a huge advantage. I mean, we saw you making moves like that car was glued to the track with those fresh tires when you restarted. I think it was like fifth and was able to drive up to second within like 2 laps. And then, you and Jeff had a great battle there for half a lap until you just said, see you later.
Yeah, on that restart, it was me and Frank. We had the same set of tires, and I was like, Frank, I'm racing up the field with you, and he kind of got stuck a little bit, and the outside was rolling for me those first couple laps, so that was really good. And then to get by Pogo, I had to use the dog leg. I think I used it twice, maybe 3 times tonight altogether, and kind of sent it down in there and hope it stuck. Because even with a little bit older tires, Pogo's good, and I know we can race really hard with each other, and we might bump a little bit, but that's just a little bit of racing.
Oh yeah, that it is. It's good hard racing, as I like to call it. And yeah, Brandon, a great way to end the season, like we said before, rebound. And yeah, Phoenix, you said, I believe you weren't looking very much too, but here tonight has to turn around your outlook on it a little bit, right?
I play too modest with most of these races, Brett, I guess, because the second half of the season I think I've talked to you 3 straight weeks that I've raced, so that's been fun talking to you. And yeah, like we talked last week, you even were like, yeah, you've won at Phoenix before, but that was kind of the same thing, a little bit longer, and I had fresher tires at the end of that race, and that was one where it was a longer green flag run to end the race, and I benefited by doing the exact opposite of what I did tonight, was taking the tires early. So, if anything, maybe I have a career as a crew chief just calling these races.
Yeah,
Because I may not be the best racer, but I'm pretty good at calling these races lately.
yeah. I tell you what, I'll pay you to be my crew chief in any NIS race. It seems like.
Yeah, we got the strategy down pretty good. So anybody out there look for a crew chief, hit me up. We got this.
Yeah, it could be your side gig as well, right?
Yeah.
Well, awesome stuff here, Brandon. Season number 5 wrapped on up, and yeah, of course, expect to see you back for season number 6 when that schedule gets released. And as well as that, what are your outlooks for season number 6? What are the expectations? I assume, just like this season, gonna try the top 5, of course.
I think with the way we finished the season, we got to go after a championship. We've been there before. We were close. Like I said, that race with Phoenix where I won, I'm 1 point short to Frank on a championship. So
Yeah, I tell you what,
why not shoot for that?
Yeah, and I think definitely feasible here, Brandon, especially like you said, with the way you ended this season. You get that little bit of luck beginning of the season. There's maybe a chase in the next one, something crazy like that. And I think you have a really good shot at one each and every season.
I will say they should feel lucky there wasn't a chase this year, because the way I finished the season, we got some momentum going. It sucks that the off season's so long, so hopefully we can keep it up by doing some other races.
Yeah, no, I think with some other racing, I think you got something going on Thursday nights as well, right? To take up the time with
Yeah, we're racing the ARC cars, Brett. I wasn't there at the end of the race, but I see that you did win that, so congrats to you on the ARCA win, season opener.
Oh, thank you, thank you. It was cool to race against a bunch of you guys. That was the coolest part. I was telling my buddy that I'm on a team with there. I'm like, yeah, these guys are really, really cool. And he's like, all right, blah, blah. The common thing coming in, not knowing these guys. And after the race, he said, yeah, that was a bunch of fun, and I'm looking forward to this season. I said, I told you, man, it's going to be a blast. It sucks you got taken out early in that race, but excited to see you out on track for the rest of the races. Luckily, 2 drop weeks as well.
Yeah, 2 drop weeks, so just like this series, I take full advantage of that the opening week. I think we finished 40th at Daytona, so that did not help to start this season, but hey, it's racing. It happens. At least I'm not paying to fix that car to be racing again next Thursday,
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just hitting a reset button for next week.
And yeah, maybe just like this series, starts off a little bit rough. Like you said, first race not going that well. If you end that ARCA season like you do here, everyone better watch out, right?
That's the plan.
Hey, there you go.
We're on it now, and we're a lot comfortable in that new sim ring that we got at the beginning of the season. So I think that's a bunch of it too. Finally, like getting some fine tuning on it and adjusting to it.
Oh yeah, that's definitely key because as anyone knows that race is a sim car, and maybe the viewers that don't know at home, we get no feel. The only thing we're feeling is only the wheel and then just the slight motion in our eyes. So if you get that wheel dialed on in, it makes a world of difference, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's to be honest, I didn't think it would make that much of a difference because I've had my luck with like the past seasons with racing the Logitech wheel, but it was a struggle at the beginning of the year. But then halfway through the year, I'm like, holy crap! Like this is making a hell of a difference right now. So yeah, can't thank my Moza wheel enough. My Moza pedals, they got me through the season, and 3 wins. I think that's the most I've ever had in one season. So that feels nice too.
Yeah, that it does. And of course, 2 in a row at the very end. So, Brandon, before we let you go and continue to celebrate down in Victory Lane here tonight at Phoenix and get into the off season, we're going to go hand over the mic to you and have you thank who you got to thank before we wrap things on up, whether those all important sponsors, teammates, or maybe some people tuning in at home and the people that let you do this, right?
Yeah. So first, as always, it's the kids. Bryson and Brody, I'd like to thank them. They get to let Daddy race at night. We want to thank all the sponsors: Barstool, the Barstool of Fun, Rubbin' is a Racing Podcast, 47 brand, Body Armor, chugging that down after a nice long race again. Uh, special thanks, obviously, to Riptide Radio, Barefoot. Last race, it's been a pleasure racing with him. All the admins, Rob. Who else we got? Well, thank you for putting on the broadcast. Thank my teammates. Piston Broke, or not Piston Broke anymore, Penny Stackers. We got Frank, John, Kenny, and Dustin. Good run tonight. And a special farewell also. Jason Wiley will not be returning for next season. He's going to be joining a bowling league, I believe. So he will not be with us on Sunday evening. So he'll still be my teammate, but we just won't be racing in the 802. And I feel like I'm missing. Oh, yeah. And congratulations to Pogo. Championship well earned. He was the most consistent driver all year. So congrats to him, and can't wait till next year.
Yeah, I can't wait till next year either, Brandon. So you, my man, go celebrate this win, 2 in a row, always special, and we'll see you out on track on those Thursday nights.
We'll see you Thursday, Brett. Have a good one.
You as well, Brandon. All righty. Well, we now head on over to our champion, third place winner here tonight, and walking away with the big trophy. It is the 97 machine of Jeff Pogo. Jeff, you got a copy?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, we had to save you to the end. Hopefully you don't mind the wait, but you, my man, down here on the front stretch after doing some burnouts, you have the big trophy. How are we feeling after 21 long weeks?
It feels good. It would have felt better to cap it off with a win. I hated to see those cautions, that long green flag. Just out there doing work. And caution. So kind of sucks, but just like what I guess Richmond this season too, I did the same thing. I kind of went out there, dominated, and then cautions kept me from winning at the end.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Jeff, you had some blistering pace. I mean, that long run there before that halfway caution, you were 8 seconds in front of your teammate. I mean, what'd you figure out for this place? Because you were on rails, especially when it came to race pace.
I've always kind of been good at these flatter style tracks. I hate Phoenix. I hate the open dog leg, but I don't know. This is the first time I've actually really done halfway decent here. Just so a track like this, I run a lot of rear brake. Pretty much the brakes are what helps turn the car. I don't put much wheel in it. I just let the brakes do the thing. I mean, we had 80 laps on that set of tires, and I still had almost 70% on my right front left. My rears were at like 62, so that's about all I do.
Wow, that is definitely awesome to hear, especially from the tire wear to have more right rear than the right front. Definitely doing something right, especially in these NASCARs.
Yeah, I've never been good fire off speed really in anything. It's always been long green flag run, and I mean you see tonight again, you get a long green flag run. That's where I shine. But it is what it is. I'll take third place. Happy with it. It was some good racing with Brandon, Dustin. Uh, I didn't mean to spin Frank. I meant to go up and kind of nudge him out of the way. He kind of ran me high a couple times. I was like, all right, we're gonna do this. I'll repay the favor, and I went up there and just hit him in the wrong spot. So kind of feel bad for Frank, but he still recovered, got a sixth place finish out of it. He's raced me clean all season, so I hate to do that in the last race of the season.
Yeah, definitely a tough one there, especially the contact here in iRacing. It seems like anytime you hit a left rear quarter panel, it just sends the car unrealistically around.
Yeah, and it's kind of difficult for me too, because all night you didn't see it because I wasn't in traffic a whole bunch. But my 1 and 2, I would drive in super deep and make the corner. So I mean, I came from a ways back to get Frank, and that's what kind of surprised me.
Yeah, it seemed like you were able to really roll the inside really well in 1 and 2 and really pick up pace, like you said, on entry and the middle of the corner, as it seemed like a lot of people would kind of drift off and kind of almost do a diamond line where you could really hold it down. And I think going back to your first point, I think maybe that rear brake bias definitely help in that case.
It does. The only thing it sucks though is if there is a wreck in front of you or something, and you got to mash on the brakes, you're going around.
Yeah, and I think we even saw that from your teammate Dan Dill with one of those big ones there. He had to slam on the brakes, actually spun into the inside pit barrels off of 2 there.
Yeah, that sounds like something he would do.
But yeah, Jeff, overall, I got to ask, the strategy call here tonight, you only came down pit road twice, so you definitely had a set of tires over the wall. Even during that last green, white checkered, were you still thinking just track position and get this race over with?
I was. I didn't think the tires were going to be that big of a difference. I mean, I knew fire off speed. I think they'd be, a little bit better for the first lap or two, but then I thought after that they'd kind of even out. And if I could have got to the bottom, I think I'd have held my own. But just being up high, you had guys with fresher tires that go in there and they dive bomb it, thinking it's going to stick. We're making it stick, and it just puts you in the outside in a bad spot. So I'll take it. I mean, I probably should have pit, but then if I would have pit, you'd have had other guys probably not pit, and then I would have had to get through people without wrecking them with 2 laps to go, and that's hard to do.
Yeah, that definitely is. And as you said right there, Jeff, with being the leader, you're always the odd man out because there's always going to be people that do the opposite strategy.
Yep, almost every time.
Yeah, so also a little bit of stats here for this season. So, Jeff, looking at the stats, of course, here tonight, adding some more, but, most wins on the season, 5 wins, top 10 finishes, now 18 counting tonight, top 5's most out of anyone as well with 14. I mean, man, what a season, and especially the consistency. I think that's what made the really big difference for you.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I said earlier is consistency's key. So as long as you be consistent every week, you don't have to win. I mean, it helps that I won 5 of them, but even if I didn't, I mean, that's what's going to shine. Because let's just say, take Johnny for example. If I get, let's just say a 10 race average, if I get 7 top 5s and 3 top 10, 10, let's just say 10 top 10s, and he gets 6 top 5s and only 3 top 10s and gets that 1/11th, well, I beat him. So, well, I mean, judging where the finishes are, but you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And yeah, definitely the name of the game. Even if you're just, I like to say, especially when I'm points racing, as long as I'm talking to the broadcaster in those top 3 spots, it's usually a really good points night.
Yep, it is. I'll have to agree with that.
Yeah, and Jeff, I had to do a little research, find out, but for past season's champions, it was Keith Fallen, Frank Zingen, Johnny Barker, John Ross, and now for season number 5, it's going to be Jeff Pogo. How does that feel, my man?
It feels good. Let's added another championship to my wins list. I've got 2 Xfinity champion, not with this league, but I've got 2 Xfinity championships, a truck championship, a Gen 6, and now this. So then we're going to try to work on an ARCA on Thursdays.
Yeah, we'll get to that point in a minute, of course. But for staying with this and Sunday night, are you planning to be back next season? Because on those championship lists, you heard it. There's no repeat winners. Could you maybe be the first? What's the expectations? All that good stuff.
We might give it a shot. It really just depends on scheduling and when they're going to run and times and what I have going on with having 2 kids. If I can, I'd like to. I mean, I'd always like to be a repeat winner, but I guess we'll see. I don't know.
Alrighty, so current season champion up in the air for next season. So definitely keeping everyone on their toes. And yeah, Jeff, you mentioned a little bit Thursday nights. That's something you're going to be up to, at least in the off season. What's that all about? And I tell you what, I had a bunch of fun racing you on Thursday.
Yeah, so me and Eric Holly are putting on a ARCA League on Thursday nights for the Apex Sim Racing Association. Me and him run that. It's going to be a 16-week series, 2 drops, no fast repairs. It's just going to be a lot of good racing. I mean, this past Thursday was our first one. I think it was what was it, Brett? 140 laps, and I think we had 9 caution laps total.
Yep,
And they were right
3
at the beginning of
cautions.
the race, and then we had I don't know what it was, like almost 100 lap run to the end. So that was pretty good. There was 8 or 10 different leaders throughout that race, and then tons of good battles. I know I got a good look at your rear bumper for most of the race, but that was kind of by choice. I knew if I went up there and tried to slow you down, it was going to slow us both down, and then we'd have been caught by the guys behind us. So I just chose to stay in line.
Yeah, I appreciate the smart racing, but you definitely kept me on my toes, Jeff. I mean, one mistake, we know how easy Kansas is right up in the fence. One mistake by me, and you would have been long gone by me. Just one kiss of the wall and game over for me. So that was definitely awesome.
Yeah, I generally like to run about maybe a half lane higher than I was, which would have put me about a half a car width to your right. But you were running higher than I wanted you to run, which made it to where I couldn't see through the corner running the line that I wanted, and it was going to put my nose in dirty air. So I just tried to keep that left front fender poked out just a little bit past you so I could see, have that clean air, and then I didn't push off the exit of 2.
Yeah, it was definitely some awesome racing, and yeah, it definitely was a challenge for me to keep you behind me that whole entire race. So
Trust me, you kept me on my toes too. I had to hit my marks to stay on your bumper.
yeah, and especially that dirty air. I was amazed the amount of effect that the dirty air had on the ARCA car. So I'm sure it wasn't no cakewalk for you either.
Oh yeah, that dirty air was a big deal, but it was fun when we were going through traffic there at that one point when we were slicing and dicing through everybody. You'd go all the way to the bottom, we'd split a guy to the right, and then, cross each other over and stuff. That was fun.
Yeah, that was, and I'm looking forward to next week a short track. I always love my short track, so Five Flags should be a wild one as well.
Yeah, it should be a good one. We got a couple guys from this league in here running too. I know Barker's in there, Coggin's in there.
This
I
week's
think
winner, Brandon Guerin.
Brandon's in there too, and then they have a few guys from another league that we ran in, the International Asphalt Association. There's a bunch of guys in there from that league too. So it's kind of a select group of guys. I think we had, I don't know, 25 or something show up for the first race, but I know a couple guys messaged me, said they couldn't make it due to conflicts and sick wives and stuff like that. But everybody that's in there I've raced with or pretty much know, and they're all clean, and it's gonna be anyone's battle for sure every week.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. And yep, here tonight, Jeff, you get to take a sigh of relief. I know points were technically over for you last week as I checked the actual stats on iRacing, but coming in here tonight, just having some fun. I'm sure you're glad to get things wrapped on up and put the seal on the stamp.
Yeah, it feels pretty good. I think Rob said I had it locked up last week, but I'm one of them that I don't really want to take it easy. If I think I got it locked up, I'm gonna end up making a mistake, and someone will miscalculate points wrong or something, and I'm gonna end up losing. But can never really just give up on these guys. Everyone in here is fast. I had a good season racing Barker, so I appreciate his patience with me racing, clean racing. I had a couple good battles with Rob too. Really, everybody in here. So, good group of guys, and hopefully we'll come back and try to win us another one.
Yeah, I would love to see you come on back, Jeff, and try and go for the first ever repeat champion. And of course, just to have you to battle out on track, you guys put on the racing product that myself and the viewers get to enjoy.
Yeah, hopefully we can come back and we'll try to do it again. It'd be nice.
Yeah, it would be a storyline for the ages. So Jeff here tonight, finishing on the podium in third, but the bigger hurdle is over, walking away with the championship. So before we let you go and celebrate the third and the championship, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and have you get to thank who you got to thank for a season long of success, whether sponsors, teammates, and those support you and maybe tuning into the broadcast.
I'll start out by thanking you, Brett, for coming in here every week and broadcasting. I know it's probably not easy to do by yourself, but I know everybody in here appreciates it. Got to thank Rob and all the admins putting the league on. They put their money, their time into this. They don't have to. And being a league owner myself, I kind of know what they go through, so appreciate that. Got to thank my wife for letting me come down here every Sunday because I watch NASCAR race and then immediately come in to do this. So my Sundays are pretty much tied up. And then my teammates. I know Eric didn't race a lot. He had some other conflicts that kept him from racing. And then Dan and Steve, just for being here and support, me trying to help them out and, have a good season. And then the sponsors on the car. I got to thank S-Works, Styled RC, Reds, Send It RC, just a bunch of guys, that trust me to race RC cars out of here and sponsor me in this. So, got to thank them.
Yeah, definitely very cool. And I've kind of wondered for a little bit. I'm sure you mentioned it before, but one more time, what is S-Works and what do they do?
S-Works is a company that makes professional grade racing RC cars, like 8-scale buggies and stuff like that, 10-scale carpet racing cars. So I race outdoor RC sponsored by them and a couple other sponsors, help me out with servos, radios, stuff like that. But that's the main sponsor, which is, the company that makes the cars and chassis and stuff like that. So gotta thank them.
Yeah, definitely very, very cool stuff, Jeff. And yeah, once again, congrats on the championship here tonight, my man. You go on and celebrate it. And yeah, we look forward to hopefully seeing you back on Sundays and try and go for another championship, as well as look forward to battling you out on track on those Thursday nights.
Yep, sounds good, buddy. Hopefully we'll see you again next season here, and I look forward to racing you on Thursdays.
Yep, same with myself. All right, Jeff, you, my man, have yourself a great rest of the night.
You too, buddy.
All righty, folks, that was our season champion, Jeff Pogo, getting the job done after a long 21 weeks. He walks away with the big trophy. So that will do it here for the post-race interviews. Let's run through the race results here and get everyone rocking and rolling out of here. So Brandon Guerin picks up the win here tonight. He goes on a streak, 2 wins in a row to end the season. Dustin Coggin, career best night for him, will beat his 3rd place at Bristol by a 2nd place in the 42 machine here tonight. Jeff Pogo, our season champion, will round out the podium in 3rd in the 97. Matthew Taylor drives through the smoke in the number 8 and will end up 4th. And Johnny Barker in the number 6 rebounds to a top 5 finish. Frank Zingen, involved in that last lap incident in the 62, will end up 6th, 7th, going to the 90, also involved on that last lap incident of Stephen Holmes. First car 1 lap down, Jason Wiley in the 13 machine from Brandon Guerin. Sounds like Wiley not going to make a return here, so have to give a big shout out to Jason Wiley here for all the races that he's been a part of and all the starts. Really do appreciate you jumping out here. Jason, coming into tonight, you had the 3rd most ever starts in the league here. a career of 8 top 5 finishes and 30 top 10 finishes in those 63 starts. 1 pole position to your name, as well as a win in the winners column. So, Jason, we appreciate your time here with the 802 Riptide Radio League, and thanks again for spending it. It's been great watching you out on track. Finishing in 9th is Eli Raposa in the 46 machine, and rounding out the top 10, another top 10 for this guy, Ariba Caton in the 30 machine. How about that? Christian Delgado in the 31 will finish 11th. Jeff Barefoot, final start for him as well. As you can see, the final ride for Barefoot in the top right of your screen. Jeff Barefoot, been a huge member of this league since day one. Jeff, we thank you for everything you do, and best of luck, and enjoy those future endeavors. Jeff Barefoot in the number 9 will finish 12th. 13th going to the 81 machine of Dan Dill. 14th going to Emilio Romero in the 15, and then Rob Lowell will finish last on the field and 15th here tonight. So that will do it here from Phoenix. Season number 5 in the books. 21 weeks of racing comes down here tonight, and things shaking on out. And I am excited to see how things shake on out. I'm going to go double check, see if the points may be already updated, just to see if the shakers all end up in it. Yeah, it looks like Stephen Holmes able to finish 4th in points. Rob Lowell in 5th. Brandon Guerin just finishes in 6th, 1 point behind Rob Lowell. Dustin Coggin 7th. Frank Zing in 8th. 9th, Justin Branham, Dan Dill. And of course, the top 3. Jeff Pogo wins the championship. Johnny Barker 2nd. Christian Delgado in 3rd. So that was top 10 finishers when things are all said and done. First and foremost, got to thank all the live viewers for tuning on in here on your Sunday night, spending your time with me. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. I think at most we had about 8 people showing on up. Still have 3 hanging out with me right now, so appreciate you guys, as well as all the replay viewers coming in here, rewatching this race. Appreciate all the views here, as we couldn't do it without you guys, and especially when you guys jump in the chat, keep me entertained, and it's always a good time, and always enjoy seeing you guys, even though I don't get to see you, or you guys get to see me, but I know you guys are out there and appreciate each and everyone. So you guys all enjoy your off season. We'll be back in, I believe, about a month and a half, a month or so time, but be sure to stay tuned into Turn 3 Race Network. We'll get a schedule put out there, as well as some races coming up in the future. Be sure to check out the live tab here, as most things starting to cool on down with real life racing, but we'll be here to bring you your sim racing action. So, as well as with Turn 3, we are partnered with Premier Setups. You can find a link in the description. That will take you over to Premier Setup Shops. And yeah, a click would go a long way. They support us, and your support by checking them out would go a long way. Oh, that's not the right thing I wanted to do. This is the thing I wanted to do. Give a big shout out one last time to all the league sponsors. Got to shout out Rob and all the other admins for all the work they do. Got to give a big shout out to Riptide Radio, season sponsor here with Jeff Barefoot. Got to give a huge thanks to what they do and what they did for this league. If you want to stay tuned with maybe Jeff Barefoot or Riptide Radio, scan that QR code. That'll take you to the app. You can tune into some of the best beach and boogie music from the sounds of the salt, sand, and sea from Ocean Drive in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. That is Riptide Radio. Or click the link in the top of the description. That'll take you over to their website. We also got to give a big shout out to Leaf Guard, season-long sponsor with the Pole Award, giving that out 21 times this season. So big thank you to Leaf Guard and all that they do, as well as BG Graphix. We got to the end and the points. BG Graphix coming on in with the points fund. Got to give a big shout out to Brandon and BG Graphix for all that they do as well as other partners with the league, that being Stone and GStone Motorsports, as well as DTL Custom. So I have been Brett the Jet in the booth here. That has been season number 5 of the Riptide Radio Next Gen Series. We will catch you in a short little bit. Be sure to keep those Sundays open, as we'll come back here of course, right back with some great racing action and catch all these guys back out on track. So everyone, enjoy the off season. We'll be back here soon. But everyone, most importantly, stay safe, have fun, and enjoy what you enjoy, because that is the key to life. So thanks again, everyone. Take care, and we'll catch you on the flip side. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and I just flew by you. Have a great one, folks.